All right. Have you considered moving to San Diego? Well, if so, you're in the right spot because today we are going to talk about all the resources that you need, help you figure out where to live, and answer any questions that you might have about moving to San Diego. If you haven't been here before, my name is Dan Parker, and this channel is all about living your best life in San Diego, where we discuss living in, exploring, buying, and selling, and all things coming soon. So, this is kind of a new thing for me today. We'll see how it goes. It could last 5 minutes, it could last an hour, but I'm here to answer your questions. So, if you have any questions about moving to San Diego, I'm going to answer them live on the spot. And if you are watching recorded at a later date, throw your questions down in the comment section and I will for sure get back to you on those things. So let's go ahead and get started here. All right. If you're considering relocating to San Diego, the first thing I'm sure you want to figure out is where to live. And depending on how much you know about San Diego or don't know about San Diego, it's obviously going to have a huge effect on moving here and where you should actually live. But there are definitely some resources that I could recommend for you. So I am going to screen share for you guys here. All right. So this is obviously a map of San Diego. If you zoom out, we have Orange County to the north, Tijuana to the south. And one thing to note is you actually have, so you have the city of San Diego, which is going to be about half of the population. So it's obviously very central. It includes downtown San Diego. It goes north, it goes south a little bit. And then you also have San Diego County, is obviously a much larger place. But again, if you're looking at population, the city of San Diego is around 1.5, 1.6 million, where the population of San Diego, the county of San Diego, is around 3.3 million. So quite a difference. And we could get into, if you guys have questions on specific areas, we can definitely get into that. Here we go. So actually, one of the places I really recommend when you're trying to figure out where to live in San Diego, Reddit is a great resource. And actually, this Friday I have a video coming out just on Reddit, using it as a resource for moving to San Diego news. It's a great place to go. And one of the places I'd recommend, if you, whether you know a lot about San Diego or not, just trying to figure out the best place to live, you have this subreddit. It's called subreddit, moving to San Diego. And if you've never been on Reddit before, the subreddit is just like an area of Reddit that is a specific group of people or people interested in one specific thing. So there's 2.6 thousand members in here, moving the number 2 and then San Diego. And you can come in here and start to figure out exactly what people are talking about as far as the areas to live in San Diego. I'm just realizing right now, I didn't put any of these cool little things up. So while I'm getting started here, let me know that you see this, that this is live. Throw your comments and questions in the comment section, or at least start off by letting us know where you're tuning in from. That'd be super helpful if you guys could do that. Okay, let's go back to Reddit over here. So the power of Reddit is just trying to figure out where you want to live. So if you're on this subreddit, you can browse through and see what people are talking about. You can, if you're interested in a beach community, you can search beach community and kind of scroll down and see what questions people have asked. This is going to start to give you a really good idea of what areas are good for you, which areas aren't good for you, depending on what you're looking for. But the real power in this subreddit is just posting. Talk about your buyer profile, your renter profile. Tell people exactly what you're looking for, what your budget is. If you have family, if you don't have family, all the specifics about your move and what is important to you and what you're looking to get out of this move. And you'll be blown away by the amount of responses that you get in this subreddit. And it's cool because it's, you can Google search or you can go onto YouTube and you can get information about moving to San Diego. But this is 100% user generated. This is 100% user voted on. So what tends to happen, and it's definitely not a perfect system, but the comments that are the best are the ones that get voted up. And so this is a great place to go if you want to get an idea about moving to San Diego, what areas are good to go to. Once you start to get an idea of what part of San Diego is good for you, whether you want to be in northern San Diego, North County San Diego, Metro San Diego, down in Chula Vista for new construction, another really good resource to go to is called niche.com. And this is where you're going to get a lot of like demographic data. You're also going to get some ratings, a lot of ratings that I myself as a real estate agent can't give you. I'm prohibited from talking really too much about schools or crime and safety, things like that, because we don't want to steer people to one neighborhood versus another based on any protected classes or anything like that. So really, a lot of the stuff it's a really good idea to kind of do this on your own. And niche.com does a really good job of pulling ratings for schools, crime and safety, nightlife, diversity, whether it's good for families and housing. So again, a lot of things that I can't talk about. And this is just the city of San Diego. But if you go on to niche.com, so let's say you're looking at Carlsbad City in California. So again, you get these ratings up here, which is a good place to start. It's definitely not going to be nothing's going to be perfect about this, but it's going to be a good place to start. They'll have a nice little caption about the area so you can learn more about the area, the population, the median home value, and then ranking. So they have Carlsbad ranked as city with the best public school in America, number 4, best city to raise a family in America, number 16, and healthiest city in America, number 16. So it's kind of fun to go off of these ratings and get a sense of what the area is like. Oh, hey, I have some comments coming in. Mike, hi Dan, grew up and lived in California whole life, sold a home in Santa Barbara last spring, moved to North Carolina, now moving back for family reasons to San Diego. Not looking forward to San Diego market. Yes, Mike, we will absolutely get into what is going on with the housing market right now, because it's almost unbelievable how challenging it is. But there's some specifics that we could get into about that. Excited for you to move back to San Diego, although I have heard North Carolina is a really beautiful place. I've worked with a lot of military moving to and from San Diego. I'm kind of curious why you moved to North Carolina if you are in the Navy, and I know it's a big Navy town. So I've worked with a lot of people that have relocated to and from North Carolina, and I've heard nothing but good things. I've heard it's a really, really incredible place. All right, so we're back here. So niche.com, again, really, really good to start to get an idea of what these areas are known for and what you can expect. They'll map it out. They'll show some schools, and you'll see there's sponsorships on here. So, take everything with a little bit of a grain of salt. But again, this is a great place to start do some research. Top public schools. And then it starts to break down. So it has a rating for the crime and safety, and then it starts to break it down and tell you what that actually means. You can see on this site, it'll get into like the cost of living and things like that. Just also keep in mind that a lot of those things aren't necessarily updated regularly. So, again, a great place to start. All right, let's see. While we are talking, again, this is all about moving to San Diego. So if you are planning a move or curious about a move, or maybe if you've moved yourself, throw in some comments and some questions that relate to that so we can pass it off to other people, or I can help get your questions answered in real time. All right. So this is the next place I wanted to show you, the next resource. This is san diego.org. This is basically the tourism department of San Diego. And this is them promoting San Diego as a place to travel to or a place to live. Really, I think it's more about the tourism and traveling here for fun. But the reason I like this is a site that I go to a lot when I'm making my videos. And this is a site where you can plug in specific neighborhoods and get a better sense of what that neighborhood is like and what it feels like. Not just the about the diversity and all these different metrics that I just showed you. This is more of like, what does it feel like? And I'll show you some examples right here. So if you go into Explore, it's not going to have every single neighborhood, but a lot of the more popular touristy neighborhoods, especially all the coastal neighborhoods, all the areas surrounding Balboa Park, downtown, Little Italy, they're all going to be in here. So if those are the areas that you're looking for, you'll find a little bit of information on here, which is kind of fun. So explore, let's say coastal neighborhood, let's look at the beaches here. 70 miles of beautiful coastline. And it's true what it's saying right here. It really is true. We have a handful of different beach communities, and they really do have their own personality. So if you have a minimal budget, renting a 1 bedroom or sharing a house or something like that just to be able to live by the beach, or if you're on the complete opposite end and you have a budget for a 10 to 20 million dollar beachfront mansion, it's good to know which beach is best for you, because every single beach community, every single beach city, they're all completely different in the way that they feel. So you really want to get a sense for that. And that's kind of what I'm getting to here. It's not going to be a tremendous amount of information, but you can start to see, like, let's go to Coronado. Coronado. So it has a really nice little blurb about Coronado. It talks about what's going on there, what the feel is like, some different things that you can visit while you're going. And especially if you're just coming to San Diego to visit, this is a great place to go to check that out. And then I can show you here, like for the more central places, downtown and urban neighborhoods. And you can start to get a sense from these photos as well, not just what they're saying. So North Park and South Park. This is a very fun area in San Diego. I like what they put here, where hipsters, craft beer, families, and music converge. And again, it's not like there's pages and pages and pages of information about this area, but that really conveys what the area is like. And mix and mingle with the local. So again, it gets into a lot more, or it gets into some more information on the areas and really starts to make you feel what that neighborhood is like. Okay, let's see what other comments we got going on over here. All right, Debbie. Hi, I'm in Flemington, New Jersey. Your husband just accepted a job in San Diego. Congratulations, Debbie. That's very exciting. I'm curious, what does your husband do? It's interesting because we have a lot of people moving to San Diego. Well, let me take a step back. So San Diego and the cities within San Diego County, none of them are on the top 10 list for most expensive cities in California, which is kind of mind-boggling. But then if you break it down into the fact that there is the Bay Area, LA, Hollywood, that's where a lot of the top cities are in California. It's because up until now, there really hasn't been a big draw to come to San Diego. The job market hasn't been what it is in those other places. And that's starting to change. A lot of tech jobs are coming to San Diego. That's another reason that's bringing the prices up. And also people can work remote. So they want that great weather. They want that year-round great weather. They want to live in a fun, laid-back area. So we're starting to see a lot of people move here. It's been going on for the last couple of years. All right, Debbie. He is in the pharmaceutical industry. Yes, we have the medical field in San Diego is huge. So obviously you have pharmaceuticals, doctors, nurses. There are a ton of different hospitals. The schools in San Diego. So UCSD and USD, they have all sorts of different programs that go into the medical field. And yeah, that's very, very interesting. Congratulations, Debbie. All right, let's get back to these slides I have here, or these websites, these resources. All right, so again, sandiego.org, you can go on here and start to look at the different neighborhoods and get a feel for what those neighborhoods are like. One other thing that I will show you, shameless plug here, you guys. There are a couple of YouTubers, part-time YouTubers, full-time real estate agents that have YouTube channels about moving to San Diego. And I think mine is, it's not too bad. There are also some other great people out there. I know Bern McGovern has a great channel. There are some guys that do the North County, San Diego specifically videos. But if you come through here, there is a lot of information on the different neighborhoods. And it's not just salesy realtor talk. This is actually trying to really deliver valuable information about moving to San Diego so you can decide what areas to move to, which areas are right, or even if San Diego in general is good for you. So shameless plug there. All right, what other questions do we have? Debbie wants to know, where can you find the best value around San Diego? Can you find a house on a 2-week period under 1 million? Can you find a house? Okay, so I'll answer the first part of that question. So obviously, value depends on what price point you're in. If you're looking at just where can your money go the farthest, where can you find the most affordability, then it's really at the ends of San Diego. So you go to the north end, you can find places like Oceanside, which is the farthest north beach community or coastal community. And then if you kind of go straight east from there, you have Vista, San Marcos, Escondido. Those are the areas in North County, San Diego, that you're going to find a lot more affordability. You can go down to the south to Chula Vista, where you get value in terms of you can get new construction or very fairly new construction for a great price. And then you can also just go east. So you can go out to El Cajon, you can go out to Alpine, you can get a little bit more land. Valley Center is another area that's northeast that you can go to get a little bit more land and a little bit more affordability. But if you're looking for value in terms of like just a great place to live, that really depends on exactly what you're looking for. Under $1 million. So can you find a house on a 2-week period for under $1 million? Yes, it's absolutely possible. If you are looking for a single family, let's just say you're looking for a single family, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. That's like the most common thing I get. 3-2, move in ready in a nice neighborhood. Definitely all the areas that I just mentioned, those would be your best bet because your money's going to go a little bit farther. The other areas in the middle of San Diego, if you're looking at Rancho Bernardo, Rancho Penasquitos, Carlsbad, Poway, you might be able to find it for that price, but it's probably not going to be quite as nice of a house. You might have to get, you might have to put in a handful of offers before you get something accepted. It's a really, really challenging time right now in our market. And again, I'm going to go into a little bit more of that detail here at the end after I get through the stuff I'm talking about right now, as far as where to find a house. But yes, if what I would recommend is you really need a custom plan and figure out exactly what your needs and wants are. Is it possible? Yes. With this market right now, it's going to make it much more challenging than it usually is here in San Diego. So I hope that helps. That was a little bit ambiguous, I know, but I hope that is helpful. And I apologize, June. I hope I'm saying that right. June de Andres. About to close on a house in Choyas Creek. You were just messaging me today on Instagram. If you are listening and you haven't started following me on Instagram, anyone out there, you absolutely should. Dan Parker _ San Diego. Yes, I'm very excited for you. That is very close to where I was living back in, we sold our house in October, I believe. We sold our house in October. We were in Rolando Park, and I used to run to Choyas Lake all the time. And that is a fantastic area, a great place to kind of get your feet wet in the real estate in San Diego while staying in the city of San Diego. So great, great area. Congratulations. Not easy to get an offer accepted these days. So I'm very happy for you. Got into a 4-way bidding war. House ended up appraising for $30,000 over the purchase price. That is bonkers, huh? It appraised for over. So I don't know. I'm not sure how much whoever's watching understands about the home buying process, but a lot of times as the home prices are skyrocketing, the banks are ordering these appraisals to come in to figure out what they believe the true value of the home is. So sometimes the home prices are going up faster than what the appraisers can prove or believe that the house is worth. And that is a problem, because if the appraisal comes in low, then that means a buyer is probably going to have to pay something out of pocket to make up that difference. You might have a negotiating opportunity with the seller, but a lot of times in this market, we have to waive appraisal contingency. So that means you're going to have to come in out of pocket at least something to make up that gap. So in your situation, the appraisal came in $30,000 over the purchase price. That's fantastic. That doesn't cost you any more money. It doesn't negatively affect your loan. That is a fantastic situation when that happens. So congratulations, man. The more I learn about you buying this house, the more excited I am for you. Even just a 4-way bidding war in this market is a great place to be. I know about a year ago, we were in a really tough market, and I think regularly we were one of 20 offers. I think right now we're getting back to that. We might be worse than that temporarily right now. And I don't think that that's going to last very long, but that's a situation that we are in right now. Carolina is beautiful, but family is a reason to move back. Took a job with Kaiser in San Marcos near downtown, looking to live along the 56 versus Encinitas versus Hillcrest. Yeah, those are all fantastic areas. And, again, just depending on your budget, depending on exactly what you're looking for, you can definitely find some great, great things in those neighborhoods. Oh, congratulations. That's really, really cool. Kaiser is really big out here. All right. Keep those questions coming. Let's get back on. No, let's do that. There we go. So you're moving to San Diego. You've started to figure out the neighborhoods that could be right for you. Now let's figure out if you can actually afford those neighborhoods and what that looks like. So, you know, Zillow and Redfin, they are two sites that pay a lot of money to make sure the user experience is really, really good. I can set you up as a real estate agent, I could set you up on a home search. There are thousands of other sites that you can go for home search, but these have the most amount of money into making your user experience as good as possible. And in San Diego, the reality is this is just like searching on the MLS. Just about every single thing that hits MLS is going to push through and be syndicated to these sites. So don't listen to anyone that tells you that it's very different, at least here in San Diego. Different states, it could be very different because there are a lot of different rules and regulations in different states. In San Diego, you're good to go. Use these sites. They're totally fine, at least as a resource when you're getting started. So the thing I like about Zillow is if you're looking for rental, this is where you need to come. I've talked to landlords. I've talked to so many people over the last year that have basically said they've stopped everything else and they just push everything through Zillow. So if you're looking for a rental, this is where you need to come. And so we're looking at San Diego for rent. Obviously, there's a lot of dots on here, but I can tell you the rental market is really, really, really challenging in San Diego right now, especially if you don't have a lot of credit. If you don't currently have a job, let's say you're moving to San Diego without a job and you're looking for a place to rent, it's going to be a lot more challenging to get those different types of things. But like, let's scroll into here. If you want to be in La Jolla, we're looking at 3.7 is on the low end, all the way up to 10K. Let's see what this $10,000 house for rent looks like. Okay, so kitchen, modern, nice wine fridge in there. Nice place. Now this is not regular to have something this expensive. La Jolla is obviously a very expensive area, but the rentals are getting expensive in San Diego. I just want you guys to know this. And they're very, very competitive at the same time. So if you want a little bit more affordability, you could come down to like Pacific Beach. So just underneath La Jolla, you have Pacific Beach. And look, you can find something for 2.8. So this is an apartment. This is going to be a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 825 square feet. Some of you might say that this is expensive, and I understand that, but you also have to realize this is for living in proximity to the water. I mean, you could walk to the beach from this place, and it's fairly upgraded. This is actually better than I would think that you would be able to get. I would imagine this is going to be very competitive. They'll probably have 20 to 40 people applying to get into this place. So you need to hop on these as soon as possible. And I'm very disconnected from the rental market. I'm going to be honest. I just want you guys to know that this is, once you're starting to figure out the area, this is the next place that you should go to. Go to Zillow, start researching what areas you can afford. And if you're looking for a house to buy, Redfin is a great place to go. Zillow as well. I mean, you could do it on Zillow as well. But there are a couple things I really like about Redfin. For one, it makes it really easy to know when there's open houses. They make it very well known. Another thing is, and let's see if I can just find something real quick. Okay, so you see this property that's hot right here? This is one thing that I really like about Redfin, and I always let my clients know. This is a hot home. What does that mean? That means their algorithm is saying that not only a lot of people are visiting this page, but they're also sharing it with other people. They're coming back to this page, and this part of their algorithm is very smart, very intuitive, and actually very accurate. What I find is when you find homes that are hot homes on Redfin, then generally they're going to go over asking in this market. And when I say over asking, this is listed at 1,449,000. This is probably I'm just gonna assume, just based on the fact that it's a hot home. I actually looked at this house earlier today, so I'm familiar with this home. This will probably go for 100 to 150,000 over asking, potentially more, because this market is just bonkers right now. So you see this hot home, you're looking to buy a house. If your max out budget is this price, then you're probably not going to have any chance of getting this house. Very, very little chance of getting this house. So very, very important to know that. Another thing I like about Redfin, and I just want to show this to you guys because this is one of the biggest questions I get when people are looking for a house, is which school district to be in. And again, I have to be a little bit careful when I'm talking about school districts, but take a look at this. You can come on here and you can look for a place. you can search based on schools, based on their rating. So let's say we only want 7 out of 10. Now, the reality is in San Diego, 7 out of 10 is going to be most school districts. But the great thing about this, just like I was talking about niche.com, this is a great place to start. It'll tell you what it believes the school is. Let me see if I could find it down here. Schools. So it will tell you what it believes the schools are in this area and how they are ranked. Now, just keep in mind the way they get this information is through greatschools.org. And greatschools.org is basically they're taking these maps and they are handwriting what they believe are the territories for these schools. So, one, they could be off. It's a great place to start, a great place to start your research. But if there are specific schools that you want your children to be in, you need to eventually pick up the phone and call and ensure that that is the right, that you will be able to get into that district. Sometimes you can be in the right area, but for whatever reason, maybe they're not bringing on more students at that time. It's not a guarantee that you can get into that school. So part of your due diligence period, once you get an offer accepted, is if a school is really important and making sure that you get into the schools that are listed on here, pick up the phone, call that school district, and ensure that that is the case, that you can get your kids into these schools that you're looking at. All right. Hopefully that's helpful for you guys, because I know a lot of people ask about that. All right. What Mike? Your videos have been super helpful, especially recent chat with Jeb and OC. Yeah, great guy. We're talking about doing other videos together, potentially getting the videographer out, because he's in Orange County. I mean, he's no traffic, probably just under an hour away, maybe an hour away with traffic. Who knows? Anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. Encinitas looks great, but concerned about the I-5 traffic for a commute. Yes, and you're near downtown, so yes, for sure. That's going to be too far of a commute. I think that, so here's one thing I would recommend, and this is great for relocating actually. When you are trying to figure out where you want to live, go onto Google and plug in during whatever time you're going to be going into work. How long is it going to take to go from Encinitas to your work? How long is that going to take during rush hour traffic? Because it could be that it's not that bad. It could be that it's an hour. And obviously there's a limit. You should set a limit for yourself. Off the top of my head, I'm going to think that Encinitas is too far, but the great news is you have so many other areas that you could potentially check out that are way closer. So that's really, really good news. Hello from Pittsburgh. Thanks for tuning in. Nailed it. Yes, congratulations again on that house. That's really, really fantastic. And just wants everyone else to know that there's hope out there. Yes, this housing market is really, really challenging, but we're getting offers accepted. June just got his offer accepted. He's about to close, not in just a couple of short weeks. I think he said 2 weeks. I have some clients that just got under contract. There's always got to be someone that gets their offer accepted. And as long as you're strategic and you have the flexibility, then you can make it happen. You just might have to put in a couple offers before you get to that point. All right. What are some of the most walkable neighborhoods that are also bike friendly? Oh, that's a great question. Let me pull up the map over here. All right. So if you're talking about walkable communities in San Diego, you're fairly limited, believe it or not. So you obviously have all of the coastal communities. They pretty much all have a downtown walkable area, which is great, but it's also not the most affordable place to live in San Diego. And when I say coastal communities, I'm basically talking about anything that's west of this I-5 freeway. So you see this freeway that's just kind of hugging the coast here. Everything west of that is basically what we think of when we think of the beach communities. The I-5 freeway really splits and makes a huge difference because that's where a lot of traffic is going every single day. So if you can get on the west side of this freeway, it's going to be walkable just about anywhere you're at. But again, that's a very small portion of people that live in San Diego that can afford to rent or own west of the freeway. So besides that, you're limited to a couple areas. A lot of them are going to be around Balboa Park in the downtown area. So you have Balboa Park here. You have the Gaslamp Quarter. You have Little Italy. So everything south of the 5 freeway over here, this is the most dense part of San Diego and extremely walkable. My recommendation is to be more on the west side of these areas, especially closer to Little Italy. That's where the best restaurants are in San Diego. If you ask me, I think a lot of people would agree with me on that, actually. But also, all of these communities surrounding Balboa Park. Balboa Park itself is a great place to walk around, have a picnic. There's a golf course there, a disc golf course. There's all sorts of different things in Balboa Park. But you have Bankers Hill, you have Hillcrest, you have Mission Hills, University Heights, North Park, South Park, Golden Hill, even up here to Normal Heights and Kensington and getting into Talmadge. Those are going to be the most walkable communities that are not the beach communities in San Diego. The areas that I would probably recommend to avoid that kind of are over here would be City Heights and just over in this little corridor right here. Those, well, in Fairmont Park. So these are the parts that maybe aren't quite as nice. In bike friendly, all of these areas that I mentioned, especially North Park, University Heights, Hillcrest, is fairly flat and is very bike friendly. They're in the process of putting in a ton of bike paths there, and anything coastal. I mean, I ride my electric bike up and down the coast all the time up here in Encinitas, and it's you can't beat those views. But anything over in these areas is going to be very, very bike friendly. Downtown is maybe not the most bike friendly place just because there's a lot of cars, but it's still pretty easy to get around. Now, one other area that I will mention that is has a walkable area would be La Mesa, and it's a little bit farther east. It's just outside of city limits, but it actually has a pretty cool little downtown area. It's only maybe 3 or 4 blocks long, but you have restaurants, shops, bars. There's a decent amount to do there. Most of the things that you need or want are going to be over in La Mesa as well. Maybe not as bikeable because it's kind of isolated over here. It does have a walkable downtown area, but it's fairly isolated from everything else in San Diego. All right. Dude Flynn, I bought a house in Oceanside for 500,000 3 years ago. Zillow has posted it for 860. Would you sell, pull equity, or hold onto it? Dude, it really depends what your next step would be. Because yes, it sounds great to be able to. Well, you're not going to profit $360,000 because even if you don't use a real estate agent, there's still going to be closing costs and things like that. But you will profit a very large chunk of money, which would be fantastic. The question is, where do you go next? If you need to become a buyer immediately, then you're basically going to be losing that equity, more or less. Again, depending on exactly what you want. You could have an opportunity to sell and then buy something else and then have some cash on hand that you could use for other investments. Or what if you're in a life scenario where you need some cash, you can have that opportunity. But to be able to sell your house and then buy something else right away, you're gonna be selling for top dollar and buying for top dollar. So unless you're moving out of state, unless you're moving somewhere that is more affordable, I don't see a ton of benefit in doing that. Or if you're in a situation where you're ready to move up to the next house, so you need a little bit more space, a little bit more room for your family, then it could be a very good opportunity to sell. I'm not one of the real estate agents out there that says it's always a good time to buy and sell because it's not. It's not. It really depends specifically what's going on in your life. And I'm thinking if the only reason you want to sell your house is because you see that money, then I don't think it's a good time because you could potentially get out of the market, wait on the sidelines for home prices to go up another 20, 30%. In the last year and a half, we've seen home prices go up 30% in San Diego County. So great, you can have a $300,000 profit, but then your $1 million house is now worth 1.3 just to get back into that market, which is just crazy, crazy bonkers to think about. But that's the situation that we are in these days. And of course, if you want any personalized opinion, you can always reach out to me. My contact info is down below. Let's see, what else do I have planned for you guys today? So, all right, I can also talk a little bit about the clients I've worked with for people that are relocating to San Diego or have relocated to San Diego. A lot of people ask me, what is the best way to move out here? Should you get a short-term rental? Should you stay in Airbnbs for a while? Should you get a year-long rental? And A lot of it is going to have to do, I think, with how well do you know San Diego? How well do you know the different neighborhoods? Because of course, if you're going to move here and spend a tremendous amount of money to be able to purchase a property, then you want to make sure that you're going to be in that house for at least 4 or 5 years. I think the old saying is, if you're going to buy a house, make sure to live in it for at least 2 to 3 years before you sell it. And that way, for one, when you sell the house, you're going to have the closing costs, the realtor costs, all those different things, like I mentioned before. But if the market goes up or down just a little bit, then usually in 2 to 3 years, you can make it through. Right now, we're in a crazy time. Although I don't think we're going to see home prices come down this year, who knows what's going to happen in the future. The last couple of years have taught us that, the only thing that is constant is change, and anything can happen. So right now, I'd probably recommend, if you're going to buy a house, you should plan to be there at least 4 years, maybe even 5 years, 4 to 5 years. Now, you might have a situation where you move before that, and that's okay, but don't plan to move and buy a place if you know for certain that you're going to have to move in 2 years. It's just not a good time to do that. So, um, if you know the San Diego market, then it's okay to start looking for places right away. Maybe get an Airbnb, maybe do those short-term rentals, month-long rentals while you're looking for a place. The problem about a short-term rental, like somewhere between, like, let's say 6 months, is the rental market is so tough in San Diego right now that it's not easy to get a 6-month lease. So you're really going to be stuck with either a year-long rental, or potentially, finding something that, um, I don't know, like the 6-month rentals, you may be able to find them, but they're really, really tough to find right now. Now, what I will say is, if you get a year-long rental, you might be able to find someone that, after you've been in there a couple of months, they might let you move out for little to no fee. Now, not everywhere is like that. You'll have to actually read through all the paperwork that they give you when you're signing a place, but it's possible that you can move in somewhere, cut your year-long lease short without penalty, or with a very, very minimal penalty, and it might be worth it for you, because that route actually might be cheaper than the short-term rentals anyway. And one last note that I want to let you guys know about short-term rentals is, if you're planning on doing 30 days at a time, that's great when it's in the winter, but basically June through August, those month-long rentals are basically going to be gone. People are going to be just doing week-long rentals, and they're going to inflate the price by a lot. So just keep that in mind. Summertime is going to be really, really expensive with those short-term rentals. All right, let's talk about the housing market. If you did not watch it, I did a live with Jeb Smith out of Orange County last week, and he's awesome. I mean, he really, really knows this market. He's been in real estate for almost 20 years. He's been through it all. He's a very analytical guy. He does 2 to 3 videos every single week talking about the housing market. And we're both going through the same thing right now. Orange County is not too far away, where this market is the toughest market that I've dealt with. The toughest. It was crazy, crazy, crazy about a year ago. It's even tougher right now. And I think we're in the situation where, over the holidays, November, December, inventory just fell right down. It plummeted. And I don't know if it was because of Omicron. I don't know what exactly was the reason, but we had basically half the inventory in November that we had the previous November. And the previous November, we had very, very, very low inventory. So we're in the situation where if you're looking at supply and demand, supply and demand, anything is going to give you a lot to think about. If you're looking at supply and demand, the supply is really, really low and the demand is really high. And then we got into the new year with kind of the hangover of, not having a lot of inventory. And then the information came out that the rates were going to go up. There's going to be 3 rates this year. That's what the Fed was telling us. So I really believe a big part of the reason why the market is so crazy right now is because everyone that considered buying a home this year, they're trying to rush and do it now. They're trying to rush and do it now. And whether they're being successful or not, they're making it very, very challenging for all the other buyers out there. So that is what we're seeing. We're seeing it being very, very competitive. I mean, it's very possible right now to have to submit an offer $200,000 to $300,000 over asking, waiving your contingency periods, to just not even get an offer accepted. That's not going to be every single house. Hopefully you're working with someone that understands this market and understands what's going on, and can help guide you to figure out exactly what is going to happen for every property. But that's a situation we're in. Even just like I was talking about the hot homes earlier, if you're looking for a condo in the $600,000 range, then let's say your limit is 700,000, you should probably be looking in the $600,000 range, maybe up to 630, because you might have to go up to that 700 to be able to get an offer accepted. And yeah, I mean that's the situation we're in right now. It's not a fun or easy market for buyers. I just had a listing. It's not even fun being a listing agent either, because you have so many people you need to let down when they're putting their heart and soul into these offers to try and get them accepted. You just can't help but feel bad for them in those types of situations. But yes, it is very, very tough right now. Mike, been monitoring Zillow for about a month. Noticed that inventory is low and houses are going fast, less than a week or two. Any hope for better inventory this summer? So I kind of talked about that a little bit. One thing I did forget to mention real quick, because you mentioned Zillow, if you're looking for a rental, keep in mind those rentals are usually not going to pop up on Zillow until like 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time. I know you want to plan out months ahead of time, but it's just not going to be available. Usually they show up when people are ready to move in, or when they're ready to turn it around. And that's the situation with the rentals. Okay, but inventory is very, very low. Better inventory this summer. Absolutely. Interest rates are about to go up. They already started creeping up, but the Fed has not increased their rates yet. That's going to happen. And really, that's going to affect affordability. I know that people have money now, and that is a big difference from 2008 when we had this housing market crash. 2008, people were over leveraged. They didn't have money. They really shouldn't have been able to afford these loans. And then we had, the biggest inventory that we've ever had compared to the number of people. Right now, we're in a situation in California where over the last decade, we've seen 3 times the amount of new people moving here, 3 times the population increase that we've seen the housing increase and new homes being built. So that's what's been happening over the last 10 years. And they say we need 3.5 million new homes in California before 2025 to meet current demand. San Diego is about a tenth, almost exactly a tenth of the population of California, which means we need about 350,000 new homes to be constructed in the next 3 years. And I can tell you it's not going to happen. I mean, we are building around 10,000 homes a year in San Diego County. I mean, there's just rules and regulations that make it tough to be able to build new construction. There's not a lot of places to build. And so it's in the future, moving forward, it's going to continue to be a problem. However, we're moving out of the winter months. Generally around Super Bowl, around when we get into late February, March is when we see inventory start to increase, and it really starts to increase in the summertime. So there's no doubt that that's going to happen. Now, generally what goes along with these more homes on the market is there's more buyers on the market. And that's where I'm very curious to see what's going to happen, because we're seeing this flood of buyers to the market now. Are they still going to be here in June when there's more houses on the market and interest rates are up? I mean, if interest rates go up another percent, that's going to be majorly significant. A percent increase in a rate for $1 million house. I mean, you're talking $400 or $500 a month extra on their mortgage. That's extremely, actually probably more than that, probably over $500 for that. So yes, for sure, more inventory by summer, and we'll see what happens to demand. But the reality is, if demand was half of what it is now and inventory was double what it is now, it's still a seller's market. You're still probably going to have to pay over asking. You're still probably going to be competing to get your offer accepted. I love these questions, you guys. Keep them coming. All right. Putting 1.03 million into a detached bungalow in the Three Roots community for 1,800 square feet. Is it worth it? So detached, so single family home. Is it worth it? Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see the Three Roots community completely built out. It's going to be fantastic. And I'm curious if you can tell us what the builder is. Is it Shea Homes? Is it California West? Or is it Lennar? Because that will actually have a little bit of an influence on what I think as well. But okay, so detached bungalow for 1.03. Yes. A brand new build in San Diego for $1 million. I think that's a very good deal, because if you look in those areas for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, if you look in Carmel Valley, if you look in Rancho Penasquitos, if you look in any of the coastal areas up there, kind of like the middle of North County, even getting into Carlsbad, you can't find a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single family home for under $1 million. In a lot of these places, you can't find them for under 1.5. So if you can get that in a Three Roots community, which is going to be this really wonderful community, for at least from what I've seen, yes, I personally think that is a tremendous value, and I think you're going to continue to see the prices rise on that. So that's great. I wonder. I'm actually curious because I know. So if you don't know about the Three Roots community, it's the largest new construction build in San Diego. Let's see if I can pull it up here. And the main thing about it is it was notorious for having a crazy, crazy, crazy long wait list. They were releasing like 150 homes this year or last year, and they had a wait list of like 16,000 people. So trying to actually get in and get an offer accepted has been a challenge. And Sam Joshua, if you actually have an opportunity right now, I'm guessing you probably submitted your information the very first day, maybe even the first minute that they allowed applications to go through. And you're finally in the situation where you actually are getting an opportunity to bid on a house or secure a house. And that's fantastic. I'm very happy for you. But I'm curious how backed up they still are. So, Three Roots community. I'm going to show you on a map here first. All right, so we're looking here. So you got Carmel Valley, you have Miramar, you have University City, you have Claremont. It's very, very centrally located. You're still very close to the beach. You have La Jolla, you have Torrey Pines, Del Mar, Solana Beach. I think it's like a very, very fantastic location. And to know what they're doing with that community, let's see here. Three Roots, Live Three Roots. It's going to be really cool. Wellness or live. Trying to find the really cool part that I seen the other day. So you have state of the art athletic clubs. All the way the homes are going to be designed look really, really nice. There's going to be a lot of kind of public access and communal areas that are going to be very, very usable. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, and good luck with that. One other thing I wanted to mention is if you're relocating to San Diego is how do you meet people? And one of the things I'll recommend is San Diego is known for being a very active area. So one thing that you could do is join some type of gym that has classes. So like CrossFit is very popular out here, some type of yoga gym, Pilates. There are different outdoor classes that you can take. Was it F45? F45. There's a lot of different things that you can take that are really great for meeting people, but also you can try Meetup. So Meetup is a place that you can go to make friends. You can, if you're really into bicycling. If you're really into biking, this is a great place to go to find a meetup for people that are bikers. And you can meet a lot of different people this way just by figuring out or just looking at your hobbies and figure out where people are meeting up to do the same type of thing. All right. We're getting a lot of questions in today. Here we go. Hugs and kisses. XOXOXO. Can a property with potential for additional units be added, be considered in the selling price? For additional units to be added? Yes and no. So with SB 9 that recently passed in California, and even before that, I mean, San Diego has such a housing shortage issue right now that they're trying to do whatever they can to help people build additional units on their property. And throughout San Diego County, basically, if you have a single family home that is not in an HOA, because sometimes HOA can have restrictions, then most properties are going to be able to have the opportunity to build a second unit or an ADU, accessory dwelling unit, or granny flat, whatever you want to call it. They've really loosened up the regulations so that's easy to build those things. There are minimum requirements based on the setback on the boundary of the house. There are a handful of basic requirements that are needed. But the reality is they aren't cheap to build. If you're building from the ground up, probably the baseline price for that is going to be around $150,000. And if you want to build what you have, like what you're thinking you want to build, it's probably going to be closer to around $3,000 or $400,000. It is not cheap. Building in San Diego right now with the wages, with these costs of all these different supplies, is really challenging. So yes, the times that it really gets affected to the sale price on the home is either if the area is extremely desirable. So let's say you're in a beach community and you have a lot where you can really build it out, or if you have a detached garage or some type of permitted space on the home that is not attached to the home that could easily be converted into that accessory dwelling unit or granny flat. So yes, that can be considered in the selling price. However, the appraiser is usually not going to think the same way buyers are. So it's going to make it more competitive, but it's not going to increase the value in an appraiser's eyes unless it's fully built out. Encanto area, East San Diego. Yes, I am familiar with Encanto. I will share my screen again here. All right. So Encanto. So we were talking to I'm forgetting your name. Jun? And so he's talking about Choyas Lake over in this area. Encanto is just south of there. So the thing with Encanto is I think it can be a little bit hit or miss. Same with Lemon Grove. These areas, there are pockets that are very nice, but in general, there are some areas that I personally would avoid. So it really depends on what you're looking for. And I know I say that a lot, but everyone's specific needs and wants are going to be different. They're not my favorite areas. I guess I'll put it that way. Bought my house here in December 2020 for $455, a 3-bedroom fixer. I've done a lot of repairs and renovations, and space is transformed. The back patio needs work, but it has a converted shed. That's awesome. I would be very interested to know how much that value has gone up, because basically since December 2020, you're talking about over 30% increase. And then you've also added more to that because of your repairs. Back patio needs work, but it has a converted shed. So yeah, you're sitting pretty right now. You made a fantastic investment. And if anyone knew what was going to happen with the market, they would go back and do exactly what you did. So my hats are off to you, Esmeralda. That is fantastic. Great to hear it. I love to hear people winning. Cal West. Oh, so he's talking about the Three Roots. The property that he is considering is with Cal West. I actually haven't talked to anyone that's purchased Cal West over here, so I would love to know a little bit more about that if you have any more information. My clients that are about to move in at Three Roots, I think they still have a couple months before they move in, but they purchased a Shea property, Shea Homes, which is a great builder. Esmeralda says Zillow says it's gone up around gone up to around 580, I'm guessing, but I don't trust it. I'm looking to buy in a better neighborhood since my income has nearly doubled since I last bought. Wow. So you potentially can make a lot of money on your house and your income has doubled. That's fantastic. I love it. Would it be worth selling? Yes, if you're in a situation where you're ready for something else and you can afford it. Someone else on here asked earlier if it would be worth selling their house in Oceanside, and basically my response was that it depends. If you're just looking to sell just so you can make money, that's great. But then what are you going to do with that money unless you buy another house? And homes are more expensive now at the same time. So you're selling at the top, buying at the top. But in your situation, if you're looking for a better neighborhood, if you're looking to upgrade your house in any way, then yes, absolutely it would be worth selling so that we can get you into that better area. And of course, Zillow isn't going to know everything, right? They know their algorithm kind of knows what the house was like when you bought it, but they don't know all the repairs and upgrades you've done. And let's be honest, Zillow had to quit their iBuyer program because they were losing so much money because that was based off of their algorithms. Their algorithms are not perfect. And what you really need is you need someone to come through that actually knows the market and tell you what they think that house is worth. So if you get down that path, I'd be happy to talk to you. And my contact info is down below. All right. Car Enormrum Bob says Voon rent. I don't know what that means, but I tried. I tried. Yes, I did submit my application in the first hour. See? Now I'm close to being able to select one. That's fantastic. So you probably, even if you selected one, you're probably still about a year out. well, maybe not a year out, probably about 9 months out. That's very good to know now. If you're still watching, if you could let me know, I'd be curious. I know. So the three builders again, you have at Three Roots, you have Shea, you have Lennar, and then you have California West. Lennar has been known for bidding the properties. So they'll take the top, I think, 30 or 50 people on the wait list, and they'll say, all right, we have these the next phase is these 8 properties. Whoever bids the most amount of money in this group can get these 8 properties. Shea is not doing that. They're saying, all right, you're the next on the list. Here's what's available. Do you want it? Yes or no? I'd be curious to know if that's what Cal West is doing or which one of those Cal West is doing. I've heard a lot of great things about that builder, but I don't know a lot of the specifics because I haven't worked with anyone working with them. Always hear about Little Italy, North Park, and Hillcrest. Can you comment on Bankers Hill? Yeah, absolutely. So Bankers Hill. Oh, I don't have my map up anymore. Let's pull the map up. Bankers Hill. All right. Bankers Hill is a very cool area. And this side of Balboa Park. So I actually lived in Bankers Hill once upon a time. It's a very cool area right next to the park. This side of the park is just all like grassy knolls and like different hiking trails. It's a very laid back side of the park that I like a lot. And Bankers Hill, you can see it's not a big area. And it actually got its name because the when San Diego was first being developed, this is where the bankers lived. And you're basically on top of downtown San Diego. Certain parts of Bankers Hill, you have these phenomenal views of the water, of downtown San Diego, of Balboa Park. And it's really, really beautiful. The downside of that is you have the airport right here. I mean, you can see this is where planes come in to land right here. They're coming right across Bankers Hill. So you have to be okay with that. That is one part that is important. Now, a little known fact is that it makes a lot of sense when you start to think about it. At least I didn't know for a long time, is that planes make a lot more noise when they take off than when they land. So it's not as loud because they're actually coming in to land that way. And then they take off out onto the water over here and right over Ocean Beach and Point Loma. But yes, that is a big part of it. Bankers Hill is expensive. When I think of Bankers Hill, I think of like penthouse condos. I think of these really nice penthouse condos. A lot of Bankers Hill has been built vertically in the last couple of years and like with luxury in mind. So if you're looking for a single family home, you're probably not going to find it in Bankers Hill. But as far as an area that's nice to live in, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. And you still have very easy access to Hillcrest, Mission Hills, North Park, South Park, downtown, Little Italy. So proximity-wise to all those things is really, really great. Cal West is doing the same as Shea, going by the priority list, no bidding wars, but they are increasing the prices every phase. Yeah, that I don't doubt that at all. They are increasing the prices a lot. Well, that's good to know. It's nice to know that, you know, it sucks when Lennar does that type of thing because it just, I mean, obviously every builder wants to get as much money as they can for the property that they're selling, but it's just not the way that that market's supposed to go. All right. If there's anything else you guys want to know, make sure to ask a question real quick. Let's see if I have anything else over here. Meetup groups we talked about. All right. Well, we're getting in an hour here, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day. Thank you guys all for signing in. It's been awesome chatting with you. Hopefully, this added some value for you when you're considering moving to San Diego. Of course, if you have any additional questions, I am a local real estate agent here. I'm a part-time YouTuber, full-time real estate agent, and my team and I would love to help you with your move to San Diego. So feel free to reach out at any time, and I guess we'll see you next time.